Hey, Shrek here with another episode of What Would Shrek Do? This is a vlog for anybody that is a weekend camper, you're a full-time camper, you want extra tips, because we're always trying to learn how to do our camping experiences better. I know it looks like I'm just lounging right now. I live full-time in a camper. So yeah, of course I'm lounging. I've got my robe on, I'm all relaxed, and let's get started with them tips for you. Okay, so everybody's got those plastic covers above their bathroom. It's the little plastic awning piece that you got a little hand crank. You can open it up, you know, if it gets a little stinky back there. Those tend to break quite often. You can find them on Amazon for right around $25. I actually recently just did pick up one for $17.85 at RV World in Paducah, Kentucky. I was really impressed with that deal. That was super great. I am going to be replacing it. I haven't done it yet, and we will record that so that way you can see how to do it. It's pretty darn easy. But when you run into that issue, so you don't run into your damage your weekend or whatever plans you have going on, stick some Gorilla Tape over it. You'll be fine. I actually rolled around for about a year with just Gorilla Tape, and also I even put a little bit of that Flex Paste, the spray-on kind though, if you know what I'm talking about. That stuff really does work, and it is added to my arsenal of must-have tools for when you're full-time living in a camper. Here's a video I found online. The key point is when you see this video is do not cover your hot water heater for no reason with cardboard if you plan on using it. What happened is he got into an accident. You'll see, he'll explain it a little bit. Enjoy this quick video.
Hey, so I got a quick question. We're having like a lot of drip leakage from water. It's coming out from this area where we usually have the water heater. We put this around it because we were in an accident and the part that we had here broke off, so I put cardboard around it. But there's like a lot of water dripping from here and coming down. So
now the reason his water is leaking is somehow his pressure release valve broke on his RV. That does happen. In the last 4 years, I think I've gone through 4 or 5 of them, mostly because I installed it wrong the first time. So I will be having a video on how to install your pressure release valve. If you enjoy having campfires, if you're new to camping, whatever the situation is, the bottom line is if you enjoy having campfires, a real easy trick to make your fire start instead of dousing that whole thing with starter fluid or whatever kind of charcoal fluid or anything that you've got to have this big roaring fire that lasts, what, 20 seconds? Take petroleum jelly, cotton balls, and sandwich bags. Have some paper towels on handy when you're making these. Kind of a fun little project for little kids too. Take those inside take the cotton balls, dip them inside the petroleum jelly, line them up at the bottom of the sandwich bag. Depending on how big your sandwich bags you're using, you can fit like 5 or 6 in there. You want just that part that you pinch with your fingers to still be good, and they'll be ready within a couple hours to be able to use on your fires. I like letting them sit 24 hours at least. If you're in an area that's known for having a lot of wasps, or maybe you're allergic to wasps, propane attracts wasps. So you can cut up a flea collar. You can get one from Dollar Store, Family Dollar, just the cheaper stores, because it's not going to be the good kind that you need to put on your pet. You can even use part of an older one that you took off your dog if you have a dog, and put that in your propane storage area, and it will help keep the wasps away. Just an easy trick that's also eco-friendly to keep the wasps away and your safety for you and your family. This is a trick I learned from actually my 60-something-year-old mother. I'm not going to say her exact age because she would I'd probably still get grounded even though I'm 30-something years old. You take dryer sheets and sneak them in between the sheets of your bed or behind your cushions, areas in the camper that will keep it smelling fresh. Get the kind that you like the smell of, and it makes your camper smell so much better. When I learned that trick, I could not believe how more fresh my camper smelled. I have a door actually right over here, and you can't see it off the camera, but I don't use that door. I've never used it, maybe a couple times, but there was always a breeze by it. It's close by my bed. Didn't really care to use it because it always tracked in mud and dirt and all kinds of stuff like that. So what I did is I took thermal wrap and the foam insulation and Gorilla Tape and sealed that up real good. I did not use anything like that spray foam or anything like that, because what if eventually I sell the camper or somebody wants to use it, if I need to use it. I think in the summer times I've used it a couple times just to be able to sweep stuff out, so I don't want it permanently sealed. But that made a huge difference for insulating my camper and keeping my camper warmer using less propane. On some of my vlogs you might have noticed the windows are covered up with thermal wrap because it is a little bit colder outside. You can also use bubble wrap. Doesn't work as good as thermal wrap, but it will keep the moisture away. If you get moisture behind any pillows or cushions or anything like that, just run a small little USB powered fan just to circulate that air in those areas, and it should take care of that problem. Otherwise, if you have any pillows that are getting moisture on them, you might want to flip them time to time so they don't get musty. If you're staying in an area that's cold for longer, you want to try to buy your propane in bulk. You want to be using your propane furnace more than electric heaters during the winter, because those are designed to heat up areas of the camper to keep your camper running good. Now, regardless of what those propane dealers might tell you, some of them are going to be great with knowledge, some are not. You got to make sure you don't over-regulate the propane coming in. That propane needs to come off whatever tank it is at 10 psi, so that way when it gets to your camper, whether you're using don't use anything longer than a 30-foot hose, because that propane can start to sludge up and it would actually damage the regulators on your camper. So keep it under 30. Make sure that that regulator on the actual big tank is running at 10 psi. Now, if you've gone through and done some winter camping already, awesome. If you're using the tips that I've taught you now, the great thing about those are when you apply some of those tips in the summertime, they're going to save you money there too. So it's going to make your cost effectiveness for camping or full-time living last even longer, and we all want to stretch that dollar, especially with these hard times that everybody's been having with the pandemic. At nighttime, if you find yourself tripping in the dark trying to find those stairs or bumping up your shins, take a little glow in the dark, the little tape type stuff that's glow in the dark. You can buy them at most stores. I think I even have a link in the description. If not, I apologize, but it's just simple tape that is glow in the dark. Stick it all over the place where you need to be around those stairs, so that way you don't bump into it accidentally, or especially the kids, you know, when it's dark out. Okay, I see this question a lot. Everybody wants to know, how do I keep mice out of my camper? Whether you're putting in storage, you're just living in it like I do, get a bar of Irish Spring soap. Cut that thing up, stick it in the little corners. It will keep the mice away. They don't like the smell of Irish Spring. I don't know why, I do. If you're like me and you buy different creamers for your coffee, you can reuse that bottle for eggs. You can crack them up, put them inside there, so that way making scrambled eggs is even easier. You can also do the same thing with pancake batter. Just so you know, the pancake batter, it will start to harden if you let it sit in your fridge for too long. Add a little bit of water, shake it up, and it's just fine. Nobody likes flies in their camper or their home or anything. Get a bottle of Pine Sol, wipe down everything you can safely, and you won't have any flies anymore. They don't like the smell of Pine Sol. I do, but I like a lot of cool smells, except for me after a workout. When organizing your cupboard, use square containers, so that way things aren't rolling around as much. You get more, it works better to store everything in there better than your round containers. And then when you're driving down the road, you don't have things rolling around as much. Is your camper getting a little bit older and all of a sudden you're noticing the wood veneer is starting to pull away? Get a 10 mil syringe. You can get it at any CVS or Walgreens, and put wood glue in there, and you'll be able to stick it in those small spots and you won't have that issue anymore. Make sure you use a wet paper towel to wipe it up nice and clean though. If you notice that the power is not working on the outside of your camper, or all of a sudden some outlets aren't working at all and you aren't an electrician, don't worry. There's a GFCI outlet. More than likely it's in your bathroom, and you'll just have to hit the reset button. 90% of the time, that's the fix. If not, it's gonna cost you a little bit of money maybe. And there's some other big issues. Also, remember to check your breaker box. You should always check the power before you connect up your camper to the shore power. Now, you can do that real easy by using a digital power monitor, and inside the US, it should be running at 60 Hertz. The readings you should be getting off that digital power monitor should be between 110 and 120 volts. Anything lower than that can cause damage to your camper. With low power, your surge protector will not protect your camper. This is especially important important when you get to campgrounds that have added more sites and you think that you may be on the end of this daisy chain of power. I do not have a link in the description for the power monitor. I have a link inside the description for that power monitor, and it runs right around $50. I do appreciate if you'll click that link. I am an affiliate with Amazon, and it does help me out so I can keep on making these videos. I get like 10 cents for that whole power monitor. If 50 of you buy them, I might get a tank of diesel. I know it's always a problem adding shelving inside your camper. If you're not familiar with the construction of your camper, I do not recommend you start drilling holes or putting screws inside your camper. What I've done in the past, and it's worked for over 2 years now, is I do have a link in my description of the shelves that I use. It's just designed for your shower, but they look real nice. I have a few in almost every section of the camper. I've got one next to the bed just to hold the remote, my phone at night, storing up my shampoos in the shower. I've got it for keeping this beard all nice and pretty in the bathroom. Even Callie has some because that dog's got more stuff for her hair than most women do. I don't get it. Again, I'm going off my notes here, and a lot of people are asking what kind of truck to get. Some already have campers or are looking at getting a camper. My camper is 10,000 pounds, and I started with a small half-ton Silverado truck. It was really great. I love the truck, except when I was towing, I was getting actually 6 miles a gallon at best towing with that half ton, so it wasn't very economical for me. I upgraded to a Ram 2500, and wow, what a huge difference. There's many times I forget that the camper is there. Not really good for safety on that aspect on my part, but it does its job. Or I wish I would have gone with a dually 1 ton right away, because I do want to upgrade eventually. That is my recommendation, is always plan for the future, so that way you're not having to buy another truck. There's a lot of information out there on the way to your camper and the payload of the truck as to what can tow behind or a fifth wheel camper with its hitch weight. I'm not an expert on all of this. I have a general understanding. If you want to learn more about the payload of your truck, I recommend a video by Chad and Tara with changing lanes on YouTube. Normally you wouldn't see any Army guy sending somebody to a Navy guy, but it's a better subject that he's more of a subject matter expert with, and I do trust his opinion a lot. I've watched a lot of their videos. They're really good people. I just normally can't afford to do all the stuff they do. I'm more of on a budget than they are. You know, I'm just happy my Navy veteran out there is doing good. Thanks for your service, Chad, and Tara, thanks for all the videos you guys do. I also want to say thank you to all my veterans that are out there that are watching my videos. I really appreciate you guys as well. Okay, everybody asks about postal services all the time. Where do you get your mail? I kind of got lucky. All of my mail goes to a spot up in Wisconsin where family members help me out by going to get it. Thank you, Mark, Liz, everybody, my mom, my dad that go and get my mail all the time. Really appreciate y'all. What I have done though is I did some research on services, because eventually I won't have that luxury of having family always to be able to help me out. I keep on hearing it's called ipostal1.com, and they have an app. You can scan in your mail, they can forward it to the address that you are at your campground. Obviously you want to plan ahead with your travels so that way they're not mailing it to the campground we're at. You know, if you're only staying there for a short time, especially remember during the pandemic, mail's moving a little bit slower. So they have packages starting at $10 a month, and they go to $15 a month, and you can get 2 months free by paying yearly right now. This was my situation. I would probably go for the $15 one. It sounds like it's the better, just nice good balance and bang for your dollar. I know I mentioned this in a quick tip, but when you rotate your tires, you need to get them balanced. It's nice to save a few dollars. I did it myself balancing them, and that was a mistake that I learned. Have a professional do it, save the few bucks and the headache in the long run. I could have damaged a stem. A lot of other bad things could have happened to my truck. Thank God nothing happened. And right here is just a quick view of some of the stuff that I keep in my camper at all time. Drain and valve lubricant, and what this does is it keeps all your valves just like WD-40, keeps them all good to go. This is to run air through all of your lines, hoses, whatever you need to keep them dry. RV toilet treatment, I really do like this brand. It's worked great to keep my bathroom smelling good. WD-40, you just never know when you're gonna need it. And I always keep a few just old cheap channel locks around, because you never know when you're gonna need them and when they're gonna come a hand. Hey, thanks for watching my vlog. I'm Shrek and happy camping. If you have anything that you want me to discuss in my vlog, any other videos you want to see of certain areas that I'm going to be going to or might be going to in the future, let me know in the comments on my vlogs and I'll make sure we can get that to you. Happy camping.